Stacey, how much higher
Hi,
are
Kelly.
pump prices likely to go?
Well, it's hard to say exactly how much higher they can go, but I think directionally the bias is to the upside, unfortunately. We're now just getting into driving season. Oil prices are moving higher. You mentioned the OPEC Plus agreement. It sounds very good on paper, but unfortunately isn't actually going to result in that much more volume coming into the market. So I think prices are going to stay high, and inventories in the U.S. are going to stay very tight.
Yeah, we're seeing so much tightness that people are worried about shortages. You probably saw the comments from Fatih Birol this week, who told Der Spiegel that we're not just facing an oil crisis, we're facing a gas crisis and an electricity crisis, and none of this is very reassuring.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, there's widespread problems kind of across the board. U.S. natural gas prices have been at multi-year highs, and very strong counter seasonally lately. So there's a lot of pressure here in the U.S., but a lot more pressure abroad. And unfortunately, it's a kind of messy situation that there's no easy fix to today.
Who has the spare capacity, Stacey, and what are they likely to do with it?
Sure. So the spare capacity really sits with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. And combined, they probably have about 3 million barrels per day of spare capacity. So that equates to roughly 3% of kind of global supply. And they've been reluctant, clearly, to kind of bring that spare capacity back online. So while that's there, I think they're trying to avoid tapping it as much as they can to just keep that on as an option in case things continue to get even tighter.
And in case things get even tighter, what does that mean? Does that mean that the demand continues to go up, or that Russian supply is effectively cut out of global markets, or, well, the European market? Let's hasten to add, it's not cut out of all markets around the world by any sense.
Right. And to some extent, the barrels that are moving to Europe today, or that have been moving to Europe, may be rerouted to China, to India, to other parts of Asia.
Right.
So there's some flexibility there, but there's a lot of cross currents today. And so, Russia's supply is certainly one of those. And how does that, get rerouted over time? On the demand side, what does it mean for China to lift some of their COVID restrictions? Do we see demand start to come back more meaningfully there? I mentioned driving season here in the U.S. So barring, a global recession, demand trends should continue to be pretty positive. And so there's just not a lot of cushion in today's market. And if we see, an unexpected interruption, think something like a hurricane in the Gulf Coast that knocks out a significant amount of U.S. energy production, that would only make the situation worse. So that's why I say, I think the bias still continues to be to the upside here.
Is the only thing that could bring gas prices down effectively a recession?
It's probably not the only thing effectively, but I don't think there's any quick fixes. The administration has looked at different options, restrictions around exports. There's been talk of trying to return idled refining capacity. Maybe alleviating some of the requirements around gasoline for this summer, that could help, and is probably more low-hanging fruit. But some of these other options are just not, going to be quick fixes. And so unless we see oil prices come down, which could help gasoline, I think gasoline prices are going to stay high.
Stacey, thank you very much. Stacey Morris, we appreciate it.